It's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot, I wanna take my clothes off.
And American college students being warned not to travel to Mexico on spring break. Too much violence there. We'll have details.
What happens in Cabo stays in Cabo.
And later on The Factor, American students warned not to travel to Mexico for spring break. Too much violence. Right back. But next, thousands of American college kids usually head to Mexico for spring break. This year, State Department says it's too dangerous. We hope you stay tuned for those reports. Factor follow-up segment tonight. As we've been reporting, Mexico is at war with the drug cartels. About 8,000 people have been killed in the last 2 years down in Mexico, more than in Afghanistan. So the State Department's warning Americans to travel to Mexico could be dangerous. And with spring break coming up, that means thousands of college kids will have to make a decision. With us now, Pauline Fromer, creator of the Pauline Fromer Travel Guidebooks, and she has one to Cancun. There it is right there. Mm-hmm. You know, I respect President Calderon's attempt to try to get these drug cartels under control. I think he's a brave man,
yes,
the president.
Absolutely.
I'm with him. I hope President Obama helps him any way he can. I really appeal to the U.S. government to help President Calderon. I would not send my kids or allow them to go to Mexico on spring break.
Anywhere in Mexico.
Anywhere, not crossing the border. Particularly when you have Florida, when you have the Caribbean, when you have other alternatives that are much safer, same sun, same water.
But not the same prices. The Mexican currency has crashed recently. A year ago, you were getting 9 to 10 pesos to the dollar. Now you're getting 15, okay. So you can buy a lot more, which means a lot
of thugs down there, and the police are not going to protect you in Mexico.
But
now,
you've got to realize that Mexico is a very big country, and
but
that
the kids go to the resorts.
50% of the violence is in the state of Chihuahua, which is in the northern Mexico,
but the kids go to the resorts,
yes.
And the drug cartels own many of the nightclubs in the resorts.
Which is why
they go there. Well, you may say it's safer, but I don't want my kid going into Baby O's or whatever it is, owned by some cocaine baron. All right.
Well,
I'm saying to my kid, no way, you're going to Mexico. It's not a good place right now. And I would stand by that. But you not. You say no.
I think that you're looking at too much in black and white. Would you tell someone not to go to New York City because there are murders in Detroit?
New York City is a safe city.
Yeah, it's a very safe, and there are safe areas.
Would I tell somebody to go to downtown Detroit and walk around? No. If my kid said, look, I'm going to do an all-nighter, and I'm going skateboarding downtown Detroit, I'm going, no, you're not.
But
you're not going there.
Cancun is very different from Juarez, from Tijuana, from the places where all the murders have been.
But where do you think the drug guys go for spring break?
But where do you think they go? If they have their money there, they don't want those people to be harmed.
But they're drug guys. That's who they are. You want your kid in a nightclub hanging with Al Pacino and Star
I don't have any evidence that these people own the clubs.
Trust me, I've been there.
You have Marriott down there. You have the W hotels.
That's the hotels.
But they have clubs in those hotels at all. I don't know where you're getting this from, Bill.
Where am I getting it? I've been there. I've been to every single resort in Mexico. The hotels are safe. If you go out of the hotels and party in the clubs, you're going into organized crime right there with a terrible element.
Look, you're right about the partying. The partying
and the police are not going to help you.
It's a problem in Daytona Beach. One of the reasons kids get into problems in Mexico, in Daytona Beach, in Jamaica,
you're telling me Cancun and Daytona Beach are equivalent? You don't think it's...
In terms of safety? Absolutely.
Oh, man, are you kidding?
I am not kidding you. If you look at the capital of the Yucatan Peninsula, Merida, you are 10 times less likely to be a victim of crime there than you are in Washington, D.C.
You know, the Mexican government should hire you.
All in the black and white.
They should hire you. I'm not buying it, but...
I would not go to the border regions of Mexico. You're right. They are very dangerous, but it's a big country.
I'm going to Florida or the Caribbean. No Mexico for me. But again, I know that's tough. 18 million Americans went to Mexico last year.
And the vast majority were fine.
Like that. The vast majority were, but the country is pretty much out of control. Pauline, thanks very much. We appreciate it. We do, but it was a great discussion.
Thank you.
And we'll let the folks make up their own mind. Some Mexican officials are angry with the fact director for warning college students about spring break danger down there. We'll have an update. In fact, a follow-up segment tonight. Last week, I warned college kids that spring breaking in Mexico might be a dangerous deal because of the drug war down there and police corruption all over the country. Well, we received tons of mail from south of the border, so we decided to take another look. Joining us now from Miami, Joaquim Bamrud, editor-in-chief of the Latin Business Chronicle website. So you have a beef with me, Mr. Bamrud. What is that?
That's right, because basically the biggest danger that American spring breakers face when they go to Mexico is that they drink too much, not that they're going to encounter violent drug traffickers. And so my criticism is that you urged all Americans to not travel anywhere in Mexico. And the fact is, destinations like Cancun, Acapulco, Puerto Vallarta are perfectly safe.
All right,
and
number one,
yes.
I did not urge all Americans not to go there. I said I wouldn't let my college kids go. Okay, that's number one. So be accurate when you're putting words in my mouth. Number two, let's take Cancun, for example. You know what happened to the police chief in Cancun?
Yes.
What happened? Why don't you tell our audience what happened to him?
Yes, basically you have a situation where both in Cancun and a lot of places you have had some incidents.
Well, what happened to the police chief in Cancun, sir?
I don't remember exactly all the details.
Well, let me fill you in. 2 weeks ago, he was removed from his position as the police chief by the federal government for allegedly covering up a murder. Okay, that's the police chief of Cancun. In Acapulco, another area you cite as being safe, 6 people have been found beheaded this year. 800 homicides last year. Does this sound like a real safe place to you? 800 homicides in the state of Guerrero, where Acapulco is. 6 guys found on the side of the road beheaded. I don't think I want my daughter going down there, sir.
No, I can see what you're saying, but the fact is, let's look at the statistics, Bill. 18 million Americans went to Mexico last year. 2 million of them, more than 2 million, went to Cancun. So we're talking statistics here, and the fact is that overall Cancun, and I do repeat what I said, Cancun, Acapulco, Puerto Vallarta are generally safe.
Look, here's
Why is
the deal.
it at this moment you
Mr. Bamrud, here's the deal. I have been to all of these places. I've been to everywhere in Mexico. I would go, okay? I'm not afraid to go. I would go. But I'm going to send a 19, 20-year-old who might be drinking and partying down there. You're in Miami. They're going to go to Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Daytona or somewhere in Florida, and they can do the same stupid stuff they can do in Mexico. And there aren't beheaded people on the side of the road. So let's be honest here. If it's me, okay. If an American wants to have a nice vacation in Mexico, it's very reasonable down there now. The dollar to the peso is very good. The Mayan Riviera is beautiful. I recommend it. But if you're going to send your teenager down there, you're nuts. You're crazy. That's not a place for them at this time in history. Go ahead.
Well, right now, what has happened, we have tens of thousands of spring breakers that have already gone, that have gone these last few months.
And their parents are nuts.
While the violence has happened, the images you've shown, and it's perfectly safe for them, just as it will continue to be.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a second that it's perfectly safe for them. I think they're taking a risk. It's like going to Aruba. Am I going to send my kid to Aruba after what happened to the Holloway kid? No. I'm not.
Well, that's another example. That's one teenager it happened to.
Yeah, but
think of all the tourists that have gone to Aruba.
You've been to Mexico many times, right?
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay,
what's the transshipment center point on the Pacific coast for Colombian cocaine? What city? Acapulco. That's where it comes through. So you're telling me that the transshipment point for cocaine coming from Colombia, all right, Acapulco is perfectly safe for my children to go party. I'm sorry, it isn't, and that's dumb.
Okay, let's go back to where I am, Miami. That used to be
it used to be a hellhole.
Port of entries for drugs.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't let my kid go there
Colombia.
Either. Look, if my kid
you wouldn't
says
let your
to
kids
me,
come to Miami?
No, now it's okay, but it used to be bad. If my kid comes to me and says, I want a spring break in any dangerous part of the United States or the world, I'm saying no, because there are plenty of alternatives that you don't have to deal with that. I'll give you the last word.
Yes, I just feel that it's very irresponsible to be warning and generalizing because of some isolated
I think I was
incident.
very specific in this conversation,
We're hurting
sir.
Mexico. We're hurting Americans, American companies, American airlines, American hotels operating in Mexico.
I got to tell the truth, Mr. Bamrood. I understand your point, but I got to tell the truth, and I was very specific about things on this segment. But we really appreciate